Hey, come for the cocktails, stay for the camera lesson. This is Cocktail Camera. Today we are making not one, not two, but 3 old fashions. Now, I get crap from people all the time because if you follow me over on High Proof Preacher on Instagram, I share a new old fashioned recipe every Monday. A lot of people love it, but there's always people in the comments being like, hey, that's not an old fashioned. An old fashioned is bourbon. Or some people are like, nope, an old fashioned is brandy and it can only be made this way. But the fact that we're all arguing about different ways kind of proves that there isn't just one way of making an old fashioned. Listen up. So first, we're gonna make a very simple, classic old fashioned. What many people might say is how an old fashioned should be made. But the whole point that I make with making all these different old fashions is that it's less of a hard and fast recipe, more of a template. There's all this history we could go into, but really an old fashioned is one of the earliest forms of a cocktail. The template is simply that it's made with sugar, water, bitters, and spirit. It doesn't specify whiskey, brandy, rye, so you can make it with rum, you can make it with tequila. We're gonna do both of those today. But again, we are gonna make kind of the more classic, what a lot of people would expect from an old fashioned. So we're gonna use whiskey, we're gonna use just aromatic and orange bitters, and then we're gonna use a little bit of sugar and water, which is just simple syrup. So today we are using a Demerara syrup. So this, if you wanna know how to make Demerara syrup, very simple. It's 2 parts Demerara sugar, 1 part water. You simply heat it on the stove, not boil it, just heat it enough for the sugar to fully dissolve and integrate into the water. And that gives you a rich 2-to-1 syrup that's nice and dark, as you can see here. And that's gonna be the sweetener for our cocktail. We are going to start with our bitters. When building a cocktail, I like to start with the cheapest ingredients first. That way, if you mess up, mismeasure, if you have to start over, you're not messing up, the most expensive ingredient, which is usually your spirit. So we're going with bitters. I'm gonna do just a teaspoon of Demerara syrup. Personally, I think this is superior than the even more old school way of muddling up sugar and water, because when you do that, the sugar doesn't fully dissolve and you end up with just all these crunchy sugar granules on the bottom of your drink. It doesn't actually mix in with the cocktail at all. So what you end up having is just bitters in your whiskey with a little bit of sugar on the bottom. Hardly a cocktail. An old fashioned is a stirred cocktail. There's no citrus or cream or any thick ingredients in there, so you can simply stir it with ice. This allows you to maintain the texture of the drink while still chilling it down. Of course, for serving this cocktail, I've got my big clear cubes. I get these from Abstract Ice. And yes, I'm holding it with my bare hands because I'm drinking this cocktail. I'm not serving this to anyone. I like taking my little ice shaper here just to kind of clean up the sides of the ice. Sometimes you get some freezer burn that, collects on there, so that just makes it look nice and crisp. Put that in our glass. Strain our cocktail over the big cube. Looks lovely. Then we're gonna do some orange oil over the top. I'm gonna take my citrus peeler. It's actually more of a cheese slicer. We're gonna express the orange oils over the top. Gonna give this a little trim. I just cleaned up the edges of our orange peel, so we could give it a little twist and drop that into our old fashioned as a garnish. So that's very much your tried and true, what most people would expect expect an old fashioned to look like. Again, follows that template of spirit, sugar, water, bitters. We have 2 ounces of bourbon or rye whiskey, just about a teaspoon of rich Demerara syrup, and we have both aromatic and orange bitters in there with orange oil and an orange twist on top. Now let's say you want to follow the same template, making this still an old fashioned, but also just a completely different flavor profile. We're gonna make a rum old fashioned today, all right? So again, we're gonna follow these same steps. We're gonna add bitters, some sugar, water, spirit, but instead of the more classic examples, I'm going to add some lime bitters here, as well as something called tiki bitters. So not crazy different from aromatic, but this is gonna have more tropical spices in it, like cinnamon, clove, allspice. Instead of Demerara syrup, I made a rich cinnamon syrup. This is a rich syrup because it is once again 2 parts sugar to 1 part water. I used organic cane sugar for this, as well as cinnamon kind of crushed into the syrup as it heated on the stove. So even just taking the cork off, you can smell a lot of fresh cinnamon. This is going to play really nicely with really kind of a slightly tropical take on an old fashioned. Again, just 1 teaspoon. You don't need a ton of syrup when it comes to making a good old fashioned. And instead of whiskey, rye, brandy, more of those traditional spirits, we're gonna do 2 ounces of a quality aged rum. This one is from Puerto Rico, one of my favorites. We'll add ice. Give this a good stir. Got another big cube in our rocks glass, and we'll strain our rum old fashioned over that. Since we're moving away from what you would traditionally expect from an old fashioned with this one, instead of an orange peel, we're gonna do a lime peel. Once again, we're kind of going for a tropical take here. Express the lime oils. And just for fun, I've got these crinkle cut scissors. So instead of just trimming the edges of my lime peel, I'm going to cut them so you get this cool crinkle cut design in the sides. Probably a more official name than crinkle cut, but it sounds fun to me. We'll give that a little twist and put that on the edge of the glass. And there is our rum old fashioned. Again, not what you'd traditionally expect when you hear old fashioned, but very much follows the same template. All right, now last but not least, we have a tequila old fashioned. This is one of my personal favorites. Once again, still following our template here, I'm going to use some mole bitters. I'm gonna add a few dashes of orange bitters as well. That's just always nice in an old fashioned, regardless of the type. And for our sweetener, we're using a completely different kind of syrup. This one is cold brew and cacao. So I do 2 parts sugar to 1 part cold brew. And then I heat it on the stove just enough to dissolve the sugar, just like the previous ones. But I add some roasted cacao nibs to infuse. So you get a very rich, decadent syrup. Both coffee and cacao or dark chocolate pair beautifully with tequila. 1 teaspoon of our syrup, then 2 ounces of a tequila añejo, an aged tequila. Add ice, give it a good stir. Big cube in our rocks glass, and we'll strain over the top. We'll do a slightly different garnish here. We're gonna do a lemon peel just to get those lemon oils in the cocktail. Almost dropped it in. A lemon peel itself can be somewhat overpowering in an old fashioned. So after I express the oils, I discard this. Then we're gonna do an orange peel as well. So once again, express the oils. And then we're gonna trim this down for a extra special looking garnish. Thought we'd do something a little different than your just typical citrus twist. It looks really fancy and intricate, but it's really not. And that's your tequila old fashioned, which is strangely enough, very rich and decadent and kind of like desserty vibes. Personally, that might be my favorite from this roundup. This is cocktail camera, so of course we have to do some camera stuff, though this feels kind of goofy for me because this is honestly my first time using this little light. I got it for like $35 on TikTok Shop. I don't even have an affiliate link for this, so if you buy it, I have nothing to gain from it. This is honestly my first time using it, so it might suck, but it's basically a glorified flashlight. You have, let's see, there we go. So it looks like it's very much on like a orange, you know, maybe 3,500 Kelvin. You can like adjust, basically making it like a spotlight, being really wide. You know, you have a bunch of different colors. I don't know if you can even see on the camera, but full RGB it looks like. I might go with the orangey look, go for a little sunset vibes. It has like these threads on either side, but no matter how hard I tighten it down, I like can't get it to like be solid on the mount. It always wants to like move to the side, but I'm gonna roll with it. But it comes like with this like snoot thing. Oh, I just changed it to blue. There we go. Has like a snoot thing, and then has like all of these cards, or all these like gobos. Like we could have window light, different kind of windows, different like cool trippy designs. So I'm gonna try using this. Ooh, it has like a flash logo. That's fun. I'm just gonna go tradish. We'll do a little window. I do have one of my actual windows open. So maybe I'll close that. Can adjust how it looks here. Jeez. Slide around on me. I don't know why it's so slippery on the threads. I have my own video light turned down here, so hopefully you can see the effect a little more. So there's kind of adjusting the zoom of the light. So it's like pretty wide. I can kind of focus it in more. I can kind of shift this to adjust the angle. Again, I hate how it just slips around. Might see, maybe I'll go for like another kind of window light. Going more for that look. That just slips into the little like silicone snoot. Again, this thing was like $35, so pretty inexpensive in the world of camera things. Also, it's like 10 watts, so it's not crazy powerful at all. Not something I'd really use on a professional shoot, but for shooting just some old fashions for my social media, I think this could be fun. Fun thing to play with. If you are a cocktail camera student or you've been following me for a while, you know one of the things I say all the time is light before liquid. So we're gonna set up our empty glassware and our lighting, kind of get the shot how we want it to look before we actually pour the liquid to take the actual photo, because cocktails die. Ice melts, they start to look sad and wilty. So as soon as you pour the liquid, the timer starts. You want to make sure everything is set up and looks exactly how you want it before you get to the real photograph. So I've got 3 old fashions to shoot here. I'm gonna try to get them all in the shot, but I do kind of need to pick a focal point. So I think I'm gonna have my classic old fashioned in the front. That's gonna be the one that's clearly in focus, and then I'll have the other 2 kind of in the background. I'll likely take a few different variations, but that's at least what I'm gonna shoot for first. Again, my light isn't super powerful, so if this was a flash, I could probably overpower the ambient light, but this is a pretty low power continuous light, so I do have to consider my ambient. I have all of my window blinds drawn. I'm gonna turn down my video light here even less, so I have less light to worry about. So most of the light is gonna come from my little glorified flashlight here. Then I'm shooting with the Sony a7 IV on the new Sony 100mm macro. So I can get in nice and close, get some really nice compression. Just gonna take a few test shots just of the empty glasses here. Now I am getting some of the details from my kind of drip tray and kind of bar tools here. So I'm just gonna scoot this forward a bit so I have a little more space in the background. honestly, this glass in the back corner is probably getting most of the light. Again, this thing's pretty low power, so I don't have a whole lot of range here. Again, if you're using flash, you have a lot more versatility in adjusting the lighting, but I think we can roll with this. Since I'm mostly happy with the setup, I'm gonna at least start adding my ice. Once again, these are big cubes from the homies at Abstract Ice. We'll start pouring our old fashions here. That one might be a little short. Now that there's liquid and ice in the glasses, we're kind of working against time, because if you wait too long, your old fashions will start looking sad and wilty. So we want these to look picture perfect. Get a few good shots while they look picture perfect before that ice starts to get too melty. Again, I have my video light kind of turned down low. I have all the shades drawn in my studio so that most of the light I'm dealing with here is coming from my primary light source. This little small rig spotlight or flashlight, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just making small adjustments to just where each cocktail is placed, just kind of messing with, where the light hits and what looks, the prettiest. Oftentimes a certain ice cube or garnish will catch the light more. Maybe I'm trying to focus on this front cocktail, but the one in the back is catching more of the light. So it's just kind of making small adjustments until you're happy with what you see. All right, fam, so of course, I'll put some of the final images up on the screen so you can easily see them. I'm okay with these. Again, I typically prefer flash or strobe lighting when I'm taking stills. You just have a lot more control over how your image looks when you have a flash versus just a continuous light like this, especially such a low power one. But this is a cool, small, compact thing that I could easily take on the road or into a bar and do some cool effects with, but I'm probably not gonna, use this very much on like a professional level shoot, but I might mess with it more with some video. Some of my social media content could be cool. Yeah, again, I like the effect. I like having the different gobos and window looks sort of thing, but I honestly just wish I had a little more power so I can control really how this looks. So that's where I prefer the photos I took of each drink with a much more powerful light source, as you can see here as well. Just a lot more crisp. You can adjust the exposure settings to really dial in how you want that image to appear. Another benefit from this though is I now have 3 really delicious old fashions. So I don't think I'm gonna drink all of them, otherwise I might be sleeping here, but I'm excited to enjoy. I hope you stick around, subscribe, because we've got a lot of fun stuff for Cocktail Camera real soon.